Hey, Ken. Oh, what do I do with that? There it is. Give me 1 second, brother. Trying to figure this out still. All right. Glad you're here, Ken. And I just did it again. What am I doing? All right. Let's see. I like to bring this to this side if I could. All right. Can you hear me, Ken? And see me? Hey, David. Shows one viewer, but I got David and Ken both here, right? How's it going? Yep, all good. All right. All right. How's everybody doing? I came on a couple minutes early because I had such a hard time last week. I didn't want everybody to wait. How you doing this week, Dave? Hey, Ken, did you get that PM I sent you the other day? Daniel. All right. How'd you make out before I had to go back to work? I saw that your thing went off air and then my break was over anyway. But anyway, I mean that's progress, right? You're doing good. You gotta. It's like one thing at a time. It's tricky, kind of, but I figured it out as I went. I'm pretty sure you could do the same. We could talk about it. I'll try to tell you everything I know about it. Now, how do I check? You go up to Creator Studio, and it opens the thing on the left, and then you go to Community, and when Community opens, it's automatically on Comments. But if you go one or two down, it says Messages. Click on it. It should show the PM message. I should probably just, what I'll do is give you my email address. I don't know if it's on my page or not, but it's just worldwithoutruleoflaw@gmail.com. But I didn't cuss. No, you didn't, Daniel. You did good, brother. But I just wanted to have a discussion with you. I had an idea, and I just wanted to run it by you, but it's not important. I mean, you don't have to do it now if you don't want, whatever. But Lex, hello from South Dakota. All right. Hello, Lex. How you doing tonight? So, well, first of all, I want to thank everybody for prayers for my friend Ray. He's doing a lot better. Still not 100%, but back's getting better. It looks like he's going to be able to travel. I'm going back to Virginia Memorial Day weekend to spend the week. We're going to try to do those beams. If you guys have been following the Homestead series there, I want to raise the ceiling to get rid of the trusses and put in those collar ties. So unless he has another setback, it looks like that's going to happen the week of Memorial Day. And so I just want to thank everybody who prayed for him. And I really appreciate it, and I know he appreciates it. So I got a new camera, too. My camera, you guys probably saw, I dropped it in Virginia, and it smashed. And so I ended up buying a new one on eBay, a used one. It's a little Canon camcorder. It's just like a basic model, but things like new, I end up paying $70 was the bid, and there was a $10 coupon. Came with an extra battery, and so for $60, I think I got, it's not the best camera, but like it'll do for what I do, right? David, I pulled the muscles in my chest, arms and legs when I did the water pump over the weekend. Oh, what, pulling the water pump out of the ground? Yeah, oof. How far down is it, David? I know those things are a bear. Oh, man. Pulled the muscles in my arms, chest, and legs. Sounds like you did a number on yourself. You got to take it easy, man. We're not getting any younger. You know, like when we were kids, we could do that stuff, right? It never phased us. No, out of my pickup. Oh, you pulled it with your pickup? Oh, when you pulled the pump out of the pickup. I gotcha. Oh, man. Be careful, brother. Be careful. I learned the hard way just to wait and get help. It stinks sometimes to have to wait, but it's definitely the right thing to do, I think. Let's see. So how's everybody doing this week? Everybody hanging in there? Anybody got anything new and exciting happen? Cast iron weighs a lie. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Oof. Nothing's easy. So you couldn't find it. When you get a chance, Ken, shoot me an email so that I have your email address and I'll email you back. I know I have trouble finding the messages sometimes too. People say they sent a message and I can't find them. Then other times they're there. I don't know what it's all about, but if you get a chance sometime in the next couple of days, just shoot me an email. If you don't mind me having your email address, I promise you I won't bug you or spam you. But I just had something I wanted to run by you. But again, mine's world without rule of law, all one word, at gmail.com. Ours is Rocky Book. Okay, I got to write this down because this chat disappears. Let me see if of course, I think I'd be prepared with a pen here. Let's see if I can copy it and paste it out of here. Well, I should be able to remember that, right? Rocky Brook Farmstead at gmail.com. I'm going to copy it, and then I should be able to paste it later. So, all right, I'm going to shoot you an email probably tomorrow morning sometime. But I had an idea. I'm going back. So I'm going back to Virginia to work in a week, and I don't think I'm going to get to it this time around because I want to work inside with Ray. I want to do those beams, and I want to try to do the doors. Right, we got some doors to put in, and there's some framing and some other stuff. I just finished my first garden. Next, put on my dad's. Nice. Yeah, I'm going to be starting my garden here pretty quick too. But down in Virginia, I got this plot. I don't know. I didn't measure it, but I'm going to estimate. Maybe it's 20 feet or maybe 30 feet by 75, 80 feet. And it was a garden before, and that's kind of a big garden for me. I've never had one that big, but I want to grow some stuff. And if you guys watch my videos from down there, I started some blackberries and some raspberry strings of those, and I want to bring some more of those down and continue those as I go along too. But I got a carport like down in Virginia, down south. You see them everywhere. I think it's probably just to get the cars out of the sun, right? So it's like a metal, like a whatever you call it, almost just like the shape of a gable, but it's not a very steep pitch. It's kind of rounded at the top a little. And they're aluminum frame, and they got sheets of metal on the sides and all along the roof. And some of them end halfway down the side. And I have one that's big enough for 2 cars. And the panels go down, and they don't go all the way to the ground. They stop about 4 feet to the ground. But out in back, I got a smaller one. I got to measure it, but again, I'm estimating that it's 14 by 20. And he just had junk in there, and like he kept his lawnmower under there and stuff. And I want to move that up into the garden. And my plan was to take the metal panels off and use those because I'm doing all this stuff on a pretty low budget because it's overwhelming what we're spending on the house. And so like I want to try to build the gardens out with as little as I can, make a greenhouse out of it. Exactly, Daniel. It's exactly what I want to do. So like with the metal the paneling that I take off, I want to arrange that on the bottom. I'm going to leave the 2 bottom panels. If you can picture it, like this is the structure. I'm going to leave the 2 bottom panels, and I'm going to take the other ones off, and I'm going to make the raised beds. I want to make them up so as I get older, I don't have to bend over and stuff. And so then, so I'm thinking that if I move that to the garden, just put the Tough Tex panels on, when we put in the new French door, I'm going to have an old French door. Only one side opens, but that's okay. I'm going to build the gable walls out with Tough Tex panels and framing, and I'll put the French door in it, and I'll have a nice little greenhouse there for the weather too. Oh yeah, okay. Like, so we don't get a lot of snow where we are, but I assume maybe just to keep them out of the sun, or yeah, the rain. I guess like it does rain pretty hard down there too, so maybe like hail and stuff to keep it off the cars, but to protect your vehicle from the sun and the weather. Yep. So we have, like I said, we have two of them. So the bigger one, I'm gonna keep because we'll park under it, you know. But the other one, I'm thinking I can get both cars and the tractor under the bigger one. I think I can anyway. So I'm thinking rather than buying all the framing and building a greenhouse, I'm just going to convert that to a greenhouse. Keep your vehicles out of the hail. Yeah, yep. So, and like, you know, my wife's got a fairly newer car. It's a lower end Nissan. It's just a Versa, but it's a decent car. It's good on gas, and it's a little tight for me, right? But like driving around town, it's okay. But I got a 02 Chevy Tahoe, and I love that. But I mean, you know, good night. The thing's, you know, almost 20 years old, right? 02, so it's 15 years old. So, like, I mean, I don't know. I guess I am. I mean, it's got a decent finish on it. It's got some rust on the rockers underneath and stuff. I wouldn't want to say, like, I don't care if it gets hailed on. But, I mean, at this point, you know, it's pretty old. Like, I'm not sure I really care that much about it. Sun will crack your dash. Yeah, that's probably true. Like, it probably is good to keep it under cover. But like I said, I think I can keep the tractor and both vehicles underneath the bigger carport. So I'm going to measure it when I go down next week. I'm going to measure the garden area, and I'm going to measure the carport, and I'm going to see how it'll all fit in. And I think, and I could even like probably shorten it, right? Because like if it's 20, it might be 24. You know, it has ribs every 4 feet or whatever. And I could probably cut it. Although that's kind of a waste, because say it's 24 and I cut it to 20. What do I do with the other 4-foot piece? Just have to throw it out. I mean, like, I don't know if it makes sense to do that, really. But then I don't know if I need a 24-foot greenhouse either. So, especially if you work on your car or other vehicles like your tractor. Yeah, it would be nice. I am definitely going to keep the bigger one. Yeah, sun will ruin your windshield wipers. That's true. I don't think of it because, like, up here in New England, the sun isn't that strong, but down there, I guess it is something to really consider. Dry rot the wipers. Yeah. So I'm definitely going to keep the bigger one. I'm not gonna use that one. But I think the smaller one, I'm thinking I could sacrifice it for a greenhouse. I really want to have a greenhouse. I want to try to grow year-round down there. I don't know if that's possible. Like, they get winters. Maybe I could do lettuces and stuff like that. I don't know, really. I have to see as I go along. I want to grow some moringa, too. I saw Danny from Deep South Homestead grows moringa. And I know that's got to be in the greenhouse all year long. So I'm not sure if that will make it through the winter, or if it doesn't make it through the winter, what happens to it? Does it just go dormant and come back in the spring, or does it die? So I got to look at that. Maybe I can't do it. I like to do peppers. I want to make hot sauces and stuff, and I want to grow a lot of peppers. So I know they do well with the heat, so I'm thinking they can go in there quite a bit, quite a few of the months. Nice tools and wash space. Yeah, that's true too. I mean, there are a lot of uses for that. Use PVC pipes to build yourself a greenhouse. Yeah, I was thinking about but you know, the expense of it. And I don't want to do one with poly. And I know you can get like the heavy duty poly. They supposedly will last 7 years. But you know, I'm 54, and when I go down there, I'm going to be 55. If I'm thinking, like, do I want to be doing that when I'm 62, 63 years old, replacing the poly then every 7 years? You know, Carolina Reapers, hot pepper. Yeah, I don't see. I like them like a little bit hot, but I don't like the real hot peppers. I got a guy at church that, you know, you can't. There's nothing too hot for him. So I did buy one ghost pepper, and I'm going to make some hot sauce. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make my hot sauce, which is going to be really medium. And then I'm going to whiz up the ghost peppers and put it in his and give him some. I've been promising him some. So another thing I want to try to make is kimchi. And I love it. I used to work with a Korean guy that made it, and he buried it in a pot in his backyard and let it ferment. And oh man, was it good. And it was pretty hot, probably a little hotter than I like. And I know that's authentic. I believe the authentic kimchi, according to what he did, he always said he did it that way. It was very, very hot. But I would try, if I made it, I would, mild it down to my own taste, which is about medium. So I said, oh, the tools in the wash in the greenhouse. Yeah, that's true. Oh, so leave it. So you're saying, Ken, that's a reason for leaving it extra long. Yeah, I suppose you can't have too much space, right, in there. It's all in how it fits in the garden area, I guess, is the key. So I got to measure that out, and I got to see. So the PVC pipes, I mean, that's not the most expensive thing, but if I made one out of there, how would I attach the Tough-Tex panels to it? And by the time I don't know, it just seems like more of an expense. If I have that one sitting in back and I'm really not going to use it, I think converting that's the way to go. Again, as long as it fits in that garden space. So our blueberry bushes are looking real good. Yeah. Jay Wesley, what state are you in? And I know blueberries, like, they're tough, aren't they, to do? Like, don't they need, like, acidy soil? And I know my brother tried to do them one year, a couple years. He had a real hard time. He rented a house that had them, and he tried to bring them back because they hadn't been trimmed, and he had a really hard time with them. They're really finicky. I do the blackberries and the raspberries. They're almost like a weed, right? They just grow. Like, they're pretty prolific. But I don't like nothing hot except OPPZ. I'm not sure I understand that one. Never mind. Nope, the metal is good. Yeah, I think so. Ken. I think I am going to try to fit that one in if I can. Got to go, but email me. Yeah, I'm definitely going to email you tomorrow, Ken. Thanks for stopping in, brother. I appreciate it. Have a good night. Mississippi, Jay Wesley. Oh, yeah. Yeah, so, like, so down there, like, can you grow year-round, Jay Wesley? Mississippi, probably, right? I think Danny does. Is he in Mississippi? He's in Alabama, right? Alabama or Mississippi? Not here. We use chicken manure. Oh, chicken manure. Okay. Is that because that's got the right pH for the blueberries? 2002. No, wow, 91. Yeah, I'm an auto tech. Yeah, I'm not much of a mechanic. Like, that's another thing. We go down there, like, I could do some construction stuff, but auto mechanics was never my thing. I don't really have the coordination or, like, the patience, and my hands don't fit in places, and it just frustrates the heck out of me. So I find that I'm usually try to, it's hard to find a decent mechanic. Not really decent. I mean, like, there's a lot of factors that go into it, right? Somebody that knows what they're doing and isn't going to waste a lot of time figuring things out, and then somebody that's honest. And we got one up here in Connecticut, and he's awesome. I'm going to miss him when we go. But, yeah, I guess 2002 isn't bad. It's got 120,000 miles on it. It's been, knock on wood, been free of issues, like, really some minor things, but nothing serious. So, oops. Blueberries grow here in the southern part of the state, and they don't mind the cold. Depends on what you're growing. My brother was growing the blueberries, and I'm pretty sure he doesn't know anything about the pH level of anything. All he did was plant them and use the chicken manure. Yeah, I just going off what I heard. I never tried them, but when I get down there, I definitely want to try some blueberries. I want to try growing some. I got some fruit trees, and I'm doing the blackberries and the raspberries. Being that I'm a ways away from moving down there, I could start those and let them start because they take a few years to grow. And, like, I mean, some of them might get fruit this year, but probably not till next year. And so I want to, putting them as I get them, and then I'm tip planting them to try to, like, extend, like, multiply the amount of plants that I have. So I've been just concentrating on those. But when I get down there, I definitely do want to do blueberries. That's why I drive late 70s Ford trucks, tons of room in the engine bay. Yeah, right? Not like crowded with all that new, like, emissions crap and electronics and all that, right? Huh. I think we talked about this last week. When I worked at the cable company, I had a 79 Ford F100 with the straight six 300 cubic inch engine. That was a good truck. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that's what you're running. It's a 78, right, David? And we were talking about it last week with the 300 six-cylinder. It took 3 years for them to start to grow. Wow, really? Huh. So maybe I could put those in now. Actually, I probably should put them in now if it takes 3 years. We also have blackberries, but I discovered blueberries taste so much better. Really? My favorite are the black raspberries. They're a little sweeter. Oh, I love the black raspberries. 70 should be EMP-proof, right? Yeah, I think so, right? I don't know how that works, like if some of the ignition parts would get fried. Not really sure. But yeah, generally, I think if you had the spare parts protected, you could switch them out, right? I think it'd be a lot easier. Like, my truck's all computer, like that thing would just be toast. But yeah, like going back to the berries. So I have blackberries and the black raspberries. I love the black raspberries, but I want to try to get a variety of different berries. Yeah, that's what I thought. 78 F100. I remember talking about it because it was pretty close to that truck I had at the cable company. It was a 79. Basically, I guess, same truck. It was automatic though, which I know as they get older, especially, the manuals are a little more responsive, right? Theft proof from today's generation. The second year produced a few, but the third year the branches were loaded. Yeah, so even 2. Yeah, I guess then if I'm going to do, like, the blueberries, I probably should do them this year. I probably should get them started. Like, when he bought them, they were just a little single step, like you buy them at, like, Home Depot or whatever, or like that big, just one stem with a couple green leaves on them. And so you're talking probably 2-3 years from that point. So I should probably get a couple of them just to try. I think I am gonna, now that we're talking about it, because I like blueberries, and they're good for you. All those berries are, loaded with antioxidants and good. So I think I'm definitely gonna try to do something like that. Try to see where we are. I was watching Daniel before he did his first live stream. I think he did pretty well. Daniel, that it's tricky with that. When you go into when you're in the YouTube thing and you see the chat next to you and you got the screen with your picture on it, like, so mine, Hangouts, I start mine in Hangouts, then I move the Hangouts down, and then I'm looking at the picture of YouTube with my broadcast and the chat on the right. And then you go up, and that's where the 3 dots are, and you hit them once, as pop out chat. When you do that, it, like, separates the chat from the rest of the browser. And then I X out of YouTube, shut it right down, and then I bring the Hangouts back up and I arrange them. You got to, like, arrange them a little bit because we got the chat next to it, and then you go from there. It's a little tricky, but I think once you get it, I think you'll figure it out. Figure it out pretty quickly. I want to get like 6 or 8 bushes because those would produce a lot. Yeah. How far apart you got to put them? Offhand, I could research it and figure it out too, but probably a few feet, right? If you can preserve them or make jam or jelly. Yeah. Yeah, I'd probably just freeze them. I'm thinking, like, just off the bat, freeze them or dehydrate them. Probably freeze them, the most of them, and use them. I have a bowl of Cheerios most morning for I had open heart surgery a few years ago, and the doctor said, Cheerios are supposed to be good for you, and have a bowl a day. So you mix them with an antioxidant fruit. So I'll put a scoop of fruit on them So, I mean, I could literally eat berries every single day, pretty much. And I just want to get tons of them and put them in a freezer or do whatever I got to do to preserve them and just use them that way. Jam and jelly is good too, though. Yeah, have them all winter long. That's my goal. My goal when I get down there, because my pension's gonna be very, very, very little, and my goal is to try to. And I know it's not really feasible to grow all of your food, but if I can just get off the berries, I mean, you just Stop and Shop or wherever, you get a little half pint or pint of berries. It's like $6. I mean, if I could just, we're going through a couple of those a week. My wife usually buys like one of those and one blueberry, or one of those and one strawberry, or whatever. I usually always have a blackberry and then something else. So we're probably spending $10 to $15 a week on berries. So, I mean, that adds up in the course of the year. That's $700-800. I can get off of that, and then with the vegetables, grow a lot of my own vegetables. That's kind of my goal for now. I mean, ideally, I have pipe dreams of someday being able to sell the stuff, like for a little, residual income. Like, I watched Texas Prepper 2, and he does a U-pick blackberry bush or blackberry operation. He sells them for $3 a pound. People come and pick them themselves, and someone sits at the table and weighs them when they come out. And $3 a pound is cheap, and he made $15,000 last year. I don't know if it was last year or the year before. Whenever I just watched the videos, like probably 6-8 months ago, but I don't know if it was from that year or the year before. But I mean, that's a pretty decent little income for, he said, really a couple days worth of maintenance in the spring and a couple days worth of maintenance in the fall, because he's not picking them; they're picking them. But then again, Texas, he gets 2 cycles. He gets, 2. Like, we get a lot more winters up there in Virginia, so we may not get the yield he gets either. I think he said he had 7 150-foot rows. So that's something to shoot for. But I'd be happy just to get my own use, just enough for my own use and my wife's use all year. If we ever built it to that point where we could sell some, that'd be great, like at a farmer's market. But they need room to spread. Let's see, depending on the variety, also would matter with the blueberries and soil pH. I know down in the southern part of Maine, they grow low bush blueberries. Your screen is different. Yeah, I'm running Windows 10, Daniel, and you have a brand new computer. You're probably got Chrome or something different. It might be different because of that. They need room to spread out when they start getting better, and because the berries will weigh the limbs down a little. Okay. Grow a lot of 1 or 2 things and trade them with other people. Yeah, that's a good idea too. And so, like, along those lines, I think because I've been doing it for much longer, the blackberries and the black raspberries, I'm not going to say I'm an expert at it, but I've got it to where I can get them to produce, and I kind of know how to prune them and know what to do. So might be better off sticking with those. I would like to experiment with blueberries, but I think I might wait till I'm down there. But I guess it wouldn't hurt to throw a few in the ground and let them go. I know Doug and Stacy were saying that with blackberries to grow them 3 to 4 feet apart. Yeah. So like what I do is I put them 8 feet apart, because then when they grow high, you bring them down and you stick it in the dirt and you anchor it like with a piece of wire, and that tip will grow roots. Tip planting, right? It's called. And so that will grow roots, and then when that takes root, then you cut it. You have like a loop. It grows out of the ground, it goes up, and you get it to grow back into the ground. And once that establishes, you cut it. Now you got 2 plants. So that's a good way to propagate them. And so I've been planting them a little further apart for that reason, because as they mature and get long, then I'm going to fill them in like that. And that I'm not buying any anyway. I've got some up here in Connecticut, so I've been taking cuttings of them and tip planting them into buckets, into little pots, and bringing them down and transplanting them. And I lost a few, but I've gotten a few to take too. So I think that's the way to do it. And then it's really no expense, Raising chickens was kind of expensive after the price went down. Raising chickens, yeah, like I go back and forth with chickens because we like the eggs, but we're not, but I don't know if we'd eat eggs every day. And then like it just seems like I won't say it's a lot of work, but there's some maintenance to them, right? And then, but then on the other hand, there's good fertilizer for the gardens and stuff. So for that reason alone, it might be worth it. And I'm not a big fan of snakes, and I know chickens will kind of keep the snakes at bay too, right? So I'm thinking we're going to get a few chickens. There's a blackberry farm somewhere in Vandecleve, Mississippi, about 20 minutes from here. Also a place called Eubanks from Lucedale, Mississippi, who picked for you, or they let you pick all kinds of veggies. Huh? That sounds pretty cool. My brother had 10 chickens. Wow. He had more eggs than he had to give some away. People around here are too cheap to buy them, but they went to Walmart and paid an arm and a leg for eggs. Made no sense. It doesn't make sense, and I mean, I could do a whole hour show just on that. Like, I don't want to get off on a huge rant, but I think that's a shame, because to grow this community the way the government is and the way the world's going, kudos to people who have little farms and little homesteads and produce things. And I know the government doesn't like that, and I think that alone is a reason to do it. But if you watch some of these channels like Off Grid Nation, he talks a lot about growing community, and what better way to support each other than to buy, if you're going to buy seeds or produce locally, even at a farm stand, is better than, going to the store. But we all, and I've been guilty of it too, we go for the convenience, right? Like you can go to one stop and get everything, whereas like you can stop here and get eggs, you can stop over here and get squash or tomatoes. But I want to try to change that. I want to, in myself, I want to try to do it more like locally and more for the sustainable farms and just help them, support them. I bought some seeds online from a few different sources. Like I bought some red Marconi peppers from Danny and Wanda at Deep South Homestead. So, $5 for a package of seeds, that was like $3 and $2 shipping, or $3 and $3, whatever it was, like $5 or $6. So like that's not going to make or break them, one $5 order. Like that's nothing, but it's one little way to, rather than to go into like the big box stores and buy the packages of seeds, I want to start buying from people like that. I buy seeds from M.I. Gardner, and these people are, I won't say they're struggling, and some of them are struggling, but they're living the way they want to live, and they're supporting themselves from their land. And I think that's important. And so I think that we should, and I won't tell anybody else what they should do, but I think I should help support them whenever I can by buying their stuff, buying their seeds or whatever. It's just one way we could help grow the community, right? I think that's important to do. And so that's all I'm going to say about that. But I got to go back here. I'm ranting. I got to catch up on some of these things. Well, maybe I can't. Chickens to raise as far as getting to lay good sized eggs. No, I have nothing here to move this up. Ah, there it is. Just don't want to see if I missed any raising chickens. Oh, yeah. Brother had 10 chickens. He had more eggs than he knew what to do with. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense why people would do that and support the big box stores. And the only thing I can think of is it's convenience, right? It's got to be just to be able to get everything you need in one stop. Jay Wesley, how difficult are chickens to raise as far as getting them to lay good sized eggs? That's a good question. Daniel, just plan to feed yourself and use extra for trade. Yeah, yep. That's my first goal for sure. Just to be able to have enough for my wife and I, just to break our dependency from the grocery store. Government shutting down farmers markets. Yeah, what a shame, like, it's going to be like, and I'm not proud of it, but in the old days before I got saved and I was a knucklehead, I used to grow a pot in my attic, right? Like when I was younger. And like I look at what's going on with the government now, and I think, you know, it's going to come to that with veggies, right? We're going to be putting grow lights in and like boarding up the windows in our attics and basements and growing tomatoes up there or squash or whatever, like how twisted of a crazy world is that? Like where you can't even, like they're shutting down farmers. Like I know, Daniel, you made that video about that. Is your farms, is your standard? And and I'm not going to really get into it because I don't know that much about it. I did see your video and I saw a video that Big Family Homestead did with Homestead Mama. And I'm actually I was watching it at work tonight. I'm going to email them tomorrow that I think there's a link in one of those videos where you can call and sound off about it. Because, like, how crazy is that? Like these places that do this, they go that extra mile and they grow organic stuff. They try to give people a good product, good quality product. And why is the government trying to shut them down? Just because they're, I don't know, they're not playing ball with them or they're hurting the big grocery stores. And why does the government even care about the big grocery stores? I still don't really get why they're involved in trying to shut them down, but there's many things in the world that I don't understand. And so I don't have to understand it. Just knowing that it exists is enough, because it's not right. And I think that everybody should be, trying to grow something, just if you live in Manhattan, just, put a couple buckets out on your patio with some, herbs or tomatoes or whatever. There's a special mash that you can buy for them to eat. That should make them have really? Like protein or something in it maybe, or a certain kind of protein maybe that they react to or that they do well with. I'll have to look at my local Tractor Supply. Yeah. Chickens, if you have 1 or 2 acres to plant oats, you'll have chicken feed and straw. Yeah. Yeah, Danny from Deep South Homestead addressed that in a video about, being completely self-sufficient to him means, growing the food for your animals. So down in Virginia where we are, we got 1.99 acres, 2 acres. So we're probably not going to be able to do that. I mean, probably not. We're not going to be able to, because by the time we do the gardens, and we got a peach orchard and some other fruit trees, and I'm doing a big area of berries, and we're not going to have a lot I'm going to try to grow some, some like clover or whatever. I thought about maybe getting into rabbits eventually. The animals is going to have to be secondary for me. I just want to start off, first I got to finish the house, right? Like that's a huge daunting task in itself. And then after that, I want to concentrate on the gardens and the growing stuff. And then once we're in there a few years, I'm going to start looking at maybe rabbits or chickens or, whatever. My brother paid for his dog to get his nails clipped with eggs. Huh. Get his nails clipped with eggs. Chickens will eat just about anything. They're like pigs, huh? Something's happening here. I apologize. Ours love grits. Grits. Yeah, that's one thing I tried last year when I did the closing in Virginia. I went out to breakfast. I had grits. I tried them. I wasn't too crazy about them. We never did give them any bacon. We don't have the land to do that. Yeah, that's the whole thing. I don't either. I don't have the land to do that either. It's not convenience when you pass right by us to go to Walmart. They just want something free. Yeah. Yeah, in a way I think it is convenience though, because like so they could stop and they could buy whatever you have to sell, but then they still have to go to Walmart. So now they have to make 2 stops because they got to get the rest of their stuff. Because they want to go to one stop and get everything, get milk, groceries, socks, like. But yeah, I think you're right too. They want to get something for nothing, or it's cheaper. They don't want to, we got to get over that. Like I got it too. I'm guilty of that too, right? Sometimes, but I'm consciously making an effort to try to shop more at the farmers markets and the little farm stands. And yeah, so if you pay a little more, I think the quality of what you get is better. I mean, I don't think it is. I know it is. And so we're trying to shift into that. I think it's important to do that. And then just as a bonus, you're helping support these local farmers, and I think that's hugely important too. That's why I'm trying to get 11 acres. Yeah, 11 acres would be nice, so I can support myself and my wife until GMOs and big government to go get Bennett. Yeah, 11 acres would be sweet. We didn't have much of a budget when we found this house, and the property's gorgeous, and house needed work, so we were able to get it pretty cheap. But I would have liked to have gotten more acreage, but it just wasn't in the cards for us. Not without strapping ourselves down. We're trying to get out of debt and try to not have a huge mortgage and all that, because our retirement income isn't going to be very great. We just couldn't swing anything with more land. Our farmers market is a joke. Used to be filled with farmers, and now it's like 2 or 3. Oh man, selling Avon, yeah, it's like a crafts fair, right? I see that in ours too, and you see more like jellies and pepper relishes and stuff like that. Which, not that there's anything wrong with that, but this is Connecticut too, so it's like people are more highfalutin, like they eat that stuff up. Whereas they won't buy vegetables, but they'll buy a $7 jelly jar full of hot pepper relish, or whatever. Which I bought them too. I mean, it's good, but it's not. I don't know. To me, that's not like a farmer's market, really. Planting some oats on a power line right away. Bring in the deer in the fall. Eat oats in the spring. Huh. Good idea, Daniel. What, you get the oats, lure the deer in, and shoot them. Sounds about right. At least you know what goes in the chickens. Yeah, that's true. Right, so it's not, you got to weigh that out against the cost too, because it's not always about the cost, right? If you're getting a better product, you know what's in there. And they're not loaded with all these hormones and all this other stuff. The government can't get tax money from the farmers market. Bingo, bingo. We got a winner. You're right, Jay Wesley. I think you hit it right on the head. You nailed it right on the head. The government can't get the tax money from the farmers markets, or from probably the little farms, right? Because if I sell chickens, if I raise chickens and get eggs, and I sell them to people at work and people at church, or same thing if I grow bushels of, I grow peach trees and I get, 100 bushels of peaches, and I'm selling them to people at church or people at work or even in my front yard on a farmer's market, they can't tax that. So that's exactly why they want to shut that down. That makes complete sense. And I don't know, is it like wrong to try to evade the taxes on that stuff? I think maybe it is, but yeah, for some reason that's a boundary I usually wouldn't have a problem crossing. I think if I grow it, why should they tax me on it? It's not like I'm set up as a business. If you want, the old days they didn't, right? If you want to sell stuff you grew on your farm, there was no tax on it. I want a couple of cows, 3 to 4 pigs, and some chickens. Yeah, cow would be nice. Get some beef. Probably 1 or 2 cows. Like, I don't know what the period, like how long they have to grow before you can butcher them. Probably a couple of years, right? Not really sure. I'm not sure what the mash is because my brother bought 3 different kinds of food and looks up. I'll probably research it on the internet and find out. I bet you it's got some kind of protein in it, some kind of protein mash. He paid the vet with eggs to get. Oh, he paid the vet with eggs to get his nails trimmed. Perfect. Good for the vet. That's awesome. Good for him for doing that. You know, like that's another principle I'd like to get back to. See people get back to in this country is barter. You know, and then there's no taxes because no money changed hands, right? We all have a skill. We all have something we could do or something we can provide. And so, yeah, like if I'm an electrician, you know, I can wire your garage. Maybe you can give me tomatoes every week for the summer or something or whatever, you know, like equal value for equal value, right? Like nothing wrong with that. I agree with that. I'm all for that. Oh no, you don't like grits? Well, you know, like so haven't closed my mind on the grits yet. I didn't like them. That I've only tried them once, and it was at a diner in Virginia. So, like, I don't know. Is it the way they made them? Did they use instant grits? I mean, like, I won't say that I don't like grits until I try, you know, 3 to 5 different kinds at different places. I try to have an open mind, but it doesn't look like I'm going to like them. If they're, I didn't like the ones that I tried, not even one little bit. So I don't know what to see. I'm gonna try some more though. Definitely not gonna write it off yet. Do you know what grits are made of? No, I do not. I would guess some kind of cornmeal or something. But oh, David answered it. Yellow homoiny corn, which I'm not sure what that is. Homoiny corn, I never heard of that, but some is made of rice too. Ah, rice, huh? Huh. So I guess it's fairly healthy. It's corn or rice. I think outside of the box. Power lines are clear and out of sight. Landowners don't normally do anything with the land under power lines, and you can plant a hidden garden on power lines. Yeah, I'm just trying to scan in my mind where the nearest ones are. To me, they're not that close, but I guess if you have them like right in your backyard or within walking distance or within a four-wheelers ride or something, it's probably not a bad idea. Guerrilla garden, right? Nobody knows it's there. Nobody can steal it from you. Those huge power lines can affect people by their magnetic something or another. Yeah. EMF, electromagnetic force. That's like the basis of electricity, kind of. It's what makes an electric motor spin. I remember school being closed because it was on land under power lines. Yeah, there's been all kinds of studies on that, but I don't know, but I'm not sure if it was that conclusive. But there's definitely a force there, so yeah, who knows? Look for smaller lines. You need a doctor. You need to doctor your grits. LOL, I cheese. Yeah, that might not be a bad idea. Anything, hey, listen, bacon. I mean, anything with bacon in it's got to be better, right? So, I mean, the way you explain it there, it sounds pretty good. Had cheese, butter, pieces of bacon or ham. Yeah, how could they not be good with that? Right, and I guess you're right, because when I had them, they were kind of like bland. They didn't have any flavor. Bacon definitely would have been a good addition. I didn't even think of that. Yeah, I'm definitely going to try them somewhere else. I know it takes 2 years for cows because they can be butchered, but that's long enough to get the first 2 to reproduce and get some milk from females. And I don't really like milk, like cow's milk. So I don't know. cows, like, although, you know, I like prime rib, right? So might not be a bad idea. Father-in-law raises cattle and cows for beef. Yeah. Yeah, bacon. Yeah. Like everything's better with bacon in it. I like bacon in my milkshake. Oh, well, I actually saw that somewhere. Bacon ice cream. I was like, what? Crazy things. Like, so I guess I'm going to retract my statement. When I say bacon, anything's better with bacon in it. I don't know if ice cream would be better with bacon in it. Just add salt and pepper, too, and the grits can be amazing. Yeah, I'm going to try them again. Actually, I'm going to try to do them myself, but I don't know. There's a dish down there. Fish and grits. Huh. Fish and grits, huh? That doesn't sound bad. Actually, that sounds pretty good. Huh. Yeah, I have to see. So that's the plan. I got some garden stuff going here. I got those seeds I got from Danny from Deep South Homestead, the red Marconis. It took almost 3 weeks to germinate. And, you know, it was cooler here. It was in the 40s at night and the 50s during the day for a good part of that 3 weeks. And so it wasn't really cold enough to where we wanted to kick the heat on, but it wasn't warm by any stretch of the means. And I think that's why they germinated slowly. And so they're just little nubs. I put them out today for the first time for a couple hours to let the breeze try to harden them off a little. But I don't know. Up here, the general rule in Connecticut, where I am, is, you know, not to put anything in the ground before Memorial Day. So I'm not sure, like, if they're going to be ready by then. But I got the other stuff I bought, that's all ready. But I'm going to be leaving Friday before Memorial Day for Virginia. So I think next Thursday is when I'm going to plant everything, with maybe the exception of the red Marconis, because if they don't look like they're strong enough to be out there, I might wait a week till I come back. Grits is one of the easiest things to fix. Just boil water and measure out your grits. Huh, kind of just like rice, huh? Pour them and don't burn them. LOL. The key to everything. Actually, so are you talking like instant grits? You buy them in a box, or is there like a different way to do it? How far did North Korea get with this weekend's missile test? I don't know. I heard they got a little further, but I don't have cable, so like I haven't really been keeping up with it. They claim, you know, people say they got the capability to reach this country with missiles, but I think, like, well, if they do, what are they waiting for? Like, they obviously hate us. I don't know. We talked about that last week. Like, I don't know enough about that really to make an opinion about it. Have an opinion about it. But I mean, we got carriers and stuff out there in the area, right? It just seems like we'd be able to shoot down whatever they send, or I don't see how North Korea could really be much of a threat to us. I know I said that last week. I could be wrong, but salt and pepper and eggs and grits. Huh, eggs, yeah. Wow, that's not bad either. I have a place where they have breakfast sandwich special, $2.99 for an egg sandwich with a small coffee, and I'll go there once in a while. I like to get mayonnaise and hot sauce on my egg sandwiches, and it really zings it up nice. You can use instant too. Instant, you just boil the water and pour the grits packet in and let it soak up the water, and it's done. Don't forget to add your butter and cheese and bacon. Tell everyone to see Big Family Homestead forced out. Yeah, about Azure Farms. I saw that today, Daniel. Yeah, I think, and like there's some kind of deadline, right? Like I'm sure he has in his link to place the email or call to try to do like some kind of petition against it. And I was at work when I watched it, so I couldn't do it, but I'm going to do it tomorrow. And I think if I'm not mistaken, tomorrow is the last day, the 17th, right? So I think I got to do that in the morning. One of the first things I'm going to do in the morning. I usually mix my grits with scrambled eggs. Well, what did I spell? Scrambled. Scrabbed. I didn't even see it. I read it as scrambled because I saw eggs and it just went together. I saw the SCR and the eggs. It never even dawned on me it wasn't scrambled. I guess that's one advantage of having bad eyes. Kind of just put things together the way you think they're supposed to be. But yeah, that going back to the Azure Farms, I'm definitely going to contact that. I think that's crazy, you know. I'm going to put this place out of business, and like people that grow organic, and I mean, it's such a wonderful thing, such a good service. Like, you know, and I got to admit, like, I watched the video and they talked a little bit about it, but I listened to it more than watch it because I'm working, right? So I got my Bluetooth in and I'm listening to it. But I'm also doing other things at the same time, so I don't really. Sometimes I miss parts of it. I got to sit down and listen to it again because I didn't really catch like what the incentive was of the government to shut them down. I don't think I really understood that. You know, they talked about it being some kind of threat to the big grocery stores. Not sure why the government cares about that. Cares like what interest does the government have with the big grocery stores? Right? Like this guy was paying his county taxes and he was even paying extra taxes, right? They said so. What's the incentive does the county have to go in and shut them down and lose that revenue? There's got to be more to the story. There's got to be. I don't understand the motivation there by the county, I guess is the point. I got to watch the video again and see if it explains it. I don't know if it really did. Video is buffering? I don't know. It could be on my end, I guess, but I have pretty decent internet. I have high-speed cable internet. I don't have cable TV, but I got cable internet. And I've not had problems with it, but it's buffering, huh? Is anybody else seeing that buffering? Is that the link, Daniel, for the petition or whatever it is? Lobbyists telling the government what to do. Yeah, again though, what's their motivation? What's the lobbyists like? I don't understand why they want to do it. I guess is the point. Like, I guess because big groceries, multi-billion-dollar industry or whatever. Maybe there's got to be some kind of special interest there. It's got to be something to do, something like that, I suppose. Huh. County told Tour they won't receive any federal funds. Okay, I guess that makes sense. Yeah. I refreshed. Is it better since you refreshed? Huh. Man, starting to get allergies are starting. Never had allergies until this year. And like, they're starting to really bother me. It's odd how they just came on all of a sudden. My whole life, I never ever suffered allergies my whole entire life. Monsanto and all the bioengineered food people are scared because more people are going organic. After knowing the truth. So they did talk, I think, about that Monsanto. See, again, I got to listen to it again because when I'm working, I can't give it my full attention. But I think I now that you say that, I think I do remember hearing something about it in the video. So the whole organic food movement is a threat to these companies. I guess that makes sense. Might be Cable One telling me I use the internet too much today. Oh, well. Yeah. I don't know. Well, I like to try to get more organized with my feeds. It seems to kind of just be like haphazard. And I'm not a very organized person anyway. And I find like, just like with my writing and just like with the other things I do, like the unscripted moments, I kind of just let it like flow out. But sometimes I don't know if that's the best approach to like the live feeds. And then I think, I've never had more than 11 people. I think there's 5 in here now, right? Something like that. 4 now. But so like I didn't know if there was maybe I could do it a different time. This might be an odd time, right? But I work second shift, so I come home at 11:30, so it's probably late. But then again, if I'm by myself and it's hard to keep up with comments from 5 people, I don't know, like even if what I would do if I ever had more people. But you want to try to grow the channel. You want to try to. I like the input from people. Be honest with you, I like the input, like people's perspective on things. I mean, I guess my videos, like a lot of people do videos to inform people and teach people things, right? I kind of like this here forum. I think I get more out of it than I give. Like I like to have listen to and get other people's perspectives on things and input on things, and I think the value is on my end. It's not that I'm giving value; I'm getting value. So I enjoy doing them, but I'm thinking like I could do a different time and get more people. But working second shift is tough, so whatever. But I don't mind. It's even though there's only a few people, it's a nice group, and I got a couple people that are that come in regularly. David's always here. Daniel's always here. Ken seems to usually drop in, but he usually goes to bed earlier. Rightfully so. I'm sure he wakes up early. But yeah, whatever. Just ranting about that. Monsanto was the cause for Fort McClellan to close in Anniston, Alabama. Really? Huh. Fort McClellan is forts are army bases, right? Or those are posts. Is that an Air Force base? I think all organic foods. I don't think all organic foods are really all that organic. Bayer bought out Monsanto. Yeah, Bayer. They can't be much different, right? Big pharmaceutical company. So how does a company like how does a company like Monsanto responsible for closing an Air Force base or an Army base or whatever it is? That'd be interesting. The evil bear company that began way back in Nazi Germany. Huh. Really? So next week I'm going to do live feed, but the week after I'm going to be in Virginia. So I'm not sure if I'm going to do it. I did it last time, but it chewed up a whole month's data, like doing my video. And so I think I might skip it. I don't know if anybody here, I know Daniel does, follows my story, my EMP story, but I think David, I think you do too. I'm going to try to get ahead of that so that I can post one that week when I'm gone. That's always difficult. Like here it is, tomorrow's Wednesday. I haven't even, I started this week's, but I'm probably halfway through it. So I won't have any problem getting it out. But then like to get a week ahead for when I'm gone, that's tricky. So like when I was alone down there, I could write the story at night, but Ray's going to be with me, and so we're probably going to be working late, and then I don't know. I might end up skipping the story for a week. I followed it religiously. All right. Thank you, David. I left another live stream to come to yours. Oh, awesome. Well, thank you, Jay Wesley. That's very nice of you. I can't believe, like, mine's that, I can't believe it's that interesting. You know, like, I feel like sometimes I feel like I'm not, you know, what do I have to even say that's interesting? Again, like, I think I get more from you guys than you get from me. But I appreciate you being here. I appreciate everybody that comes here. And I appreciate all my subscribers. You know, I got pushed over that 1,000 mark a couple weeks back, and I really do appreciate everybody that supports the channel. What's that? TRs. Oh, Wesley. Talking to Jay Wesley. So, But yeah, so when I'm down there in Virginia, I'm going to try to keep up with the story, but I might end up having to skip a week. And I've been doing the extra segment on Patreon. I'm probably going to have to, well, if I skip the week of the story, I'll skip the extended version on Patreon too that week, which I don't really like to do that because those are paid subscribers. But I had somebody, you know, say like they liked the story, but they didn't want to go to Patreon because they couldn't afford to spend them. And I, you know, I totally get it. Like, I know it's only it's only $1 a month or whatever, but in some people, it doesn't have to be about affording it. It could just be the principle, not want to have to pay for it. Or maybe people, you know, some people just think there's not any value there. Whatever the case is, I totally respect that. And I don't have, you know, I'm fine with that. And that's why I told this person that, you know, I'm not, the main story is always going to be free on YouTube. That those little extra things that I put on Patreon were just enhancements to it, you know, just in an effort to try to make up some of the monetization from the AdSense revenue being gone away. But chemical poisoning. Monsanto store a lot of chemicals. Ah, really? Man, that's like, I can't even, how can companies like that, like, even, how can they even be allowed to exist? That's crazy. They're storing chemicals on the base, and people got sick and they had to close it down. And why is the government even letting them store chemicals on the base? That's the even more disturbing part, right? I find I get my best ideas when I'm working on things and don't pertain to a story. And so I find I get my best ideas when I'm working on things, I guess it was supposed to be, that don't pertain. Yeah, things, correct it. Yeah, I think you're right. I see that. Like, I get that too. It's almost like when you're trying to write it or trying to come up with something, that's when you get blocked because it's like you're trying too hard. And if you try to step back, sometimes it just flows better. I can totally agree with that. Fort McClellan was an army base. There was toxic exposure. I have a chance to actually talk to you where they had. I have a chance to actually talk to you where they have 300 people. Oh yeah, yeah, right. I know. I see what you mean. Like, I've done that before. Like, make comments and they don't even see them. They just, because the chat's just zinging by, and some of them are worse than others. Like 300's a lot though. But like, I've been on chats like when Wrangler Star does chats. He's got tons of people. It's like you can't even read them. Like, they're just zinging. As soon as you hit enter, your comments like swished away and gone. Yeah, well, I appreciate you coming, Jay Wesley. I really do. I appreciate everybody. Napalm. Monsanto made napalm? Is that a joke, Daniel? Or is that true? Did they really? And they're storing it on the base. And then they shut the base. You know, it just seems like it makes so much sense. Or the question, I guess, was why would the government let them store there? Maybe that's the answer. Is like, the government makes napalm, so what do they care? If you can make napalm and store it at a base, right? You can put anything there. That's crazy. Crazy. Yeah. Yeah. So weather's been getting nicer here. It was in the 70s today. I'm itching to get that garden going, boy. They buy the politicians. Yeah. I think they're all for sale. The politicians, like, what do politicians like? What's even their function? Like, they don't produce anything. They don't manufacture anything. They don't provide any service or any goods or services. We're living and working in a free market, capitalistic free market society. What is the role of the politician? What is the role of the person that just is a consumer? They just take and don't give anything. It doesn't seem right, you know. It just doesn't seem like, and like, so they get, big money. A lot of them it's job for life. They get benefits for life. And yet they're contributing nothing. I can't even see what they contribute at all. Like, gets in the groundwater. Bear made the napalm. Almost as bad as the Agent Orange they used to spray in Vietnam. Yeah. They had a chemical core training there. Oof. Bad news. Both are cancer causing agents. Mustard gas and nerve agents. Oh, manana mea. What's this world coming to? Bet you Monsanto made the Agent Orange. That's bad news, that stuff. Well, a lot of our own people got messed up with that. Vietnam War. I don't know if they used it beyond that. I know they used it in the Vietnam War, but I don't know if since then are they still using napalm? Huh. Daniel, did you see the message I sent you about the topic for that podcast interview? I sent it yesterday. I don't know what it is about those messages. Nobody seems to get them. Like, I don't get them either when people send them a lot of times. Napalm, yes. Yes, they're still using it. Huh. Daniel, yes. Yes, you got the message? All right. I think they did. I remember hearing that in the video. I got it. Okay, good. Good. What'd you think? What'd you think of that idea? The rule us like nobles did in the old country. Yeah, right. It's getting to be that way more and more, I think, Jay Wesley, right? We're becoming like slaves to these people. Especially now. I mean, if they could start shutting down people's farms and businesses, and I mean, that's just like communism. Good. You liked it. Good. Okay, good. We should talk. We'll talk about it one of these days. I'd like to. I don't know if it's even possible at this point, but it probably is. I'd like to put it up before I go to Virginia, but I don't know. I don't know why rush it too, right? They want to raise now because they just can't live on 170. Yeah, 174. Yeah, the superintendent of schools in our town just got a raise. I think she's in the 170,000 range. The governor of the state doesn't even make that. I mean, I live in a town with 4 elementary schools, 1 middle school, 1 high school. I think there's roughly 5,000 kids in the school system. The budget's $72 million. And I know they're not putting the money on maintenance. Last year, our department supervisor requisitioned duct tape He was going to the hardware store. He wanted to get 3 rolls of duct tape. They sent back the form and crossed it out and said, get 1. Try to make it last as long as you can. So they're hemorrhaging money, $72 million a year. Superintendent of schools making $170,000 a year. You can't buy duct tape. They cut the non-certified. They cut all the. The board chairman of the board said, well, the non-certified people are the low-hanging fruit. They're the easiest ones to get to. So they'll cut calf workers making $10 an hour. They'll cut custodians. They'll cut paraprofessionals. But the school the middle school can have 3 principals at 147 grand a piece. That's okay. We don't want to look at cutting one of them because, let's face it, they're performing miracles in the education community. Kids are graduating high school, they can't even tie their own shoes or spell their own names without help. But you got one school where, you got almost $500,000 in administrative salaries. It causes one to have a bad attitude. You get up every day and go to work and look at that, you'll be bitter pretty quick. I try not to be, but then if you make a comment to them, they look at you like, you got a bad attitude. Well, of course I do. Look around. I try not to be that person, but I've been watching videos this week on building structures with old shipping container. Yeah, I've seen those, seen things like that. I saw, and it made me think of that, but it's not related to that. I don't know why it triggered it, but I saw a video about they were doing it in inner cities. They were taking back old, closed down, factories and mill buildings, and they're making farms out of them. They're doing vertical farming. They're growing greens and all kinds of crops, and they have it all, I can't even imagine how many millions of square feet, but so if you have let's just say a 4x8 area on the floor, they'll have 4x8 area of crops growing, but they'll have 8 of them. They'll have them every foot or 2 feet going up to the 30-foot ceiling or whatever, 10 of them, whatever. And they got that in the whole factory. And they're, it's insane. And a lot of it they're doing with, they have aeroponics now. They had aquaponics and, at first it was hydroponics, right? Then aquaponics. Now they're doing it with aeroponics. And I saw a guy doing it in his backyard in a little greenhouse. He had a 50-gallon barrel or a 40-gallon barrel. He drilled holes in it and shoved PVC plugs in it. And so he had a short piece of PVC pipe like that, and he put it in the barrel. And on the top of the barrel, he had a sprinkler. He had a misting system. And it mists for 10 seconds every minute or something like that, or every 3 minutes. And he took a little plug of some kind of material, not even sure, like a coconut core, or it wasn't coconut core, something that looked like that. And he plants a seed in it, and he plugs it into the PVC. And so the back of it's getting watered, but it's air. There's no dirt. There's no growing medium whatsoever. And the roots, they'll grow roots like, that, and they'll just hang off. And the air and the water hit them together, and they stimulate the growth. And these things, then out of the PVC, out of the front of the PVC, there's a huge head of collard greens or whatever it is. It's growing like crazy. And they're producing thousands and thousands of pounds of food. Timo, you going to sleep? Am I going to sleep? I don't know. Eventually. It is getting close to my bedtime, Daniel. Why, do I seem tired? I guess maybe I am. I'm thinking about school and getting bitter, and I reflect. I'm reflecting stoically, maybe, which probably resembles sleep. They have their own health plans. No Obamacare for them. Yeah, right. I know, that's the thing, right? They got the gold card of medical insurance. They have pensions for life. No Social Security. Yep. That's the whole problem. Yes, we are serfs to the Lord. Someone is giving herself raises. Yeah, you know that's for sure. That's the Common Core for you. Hydroponics. Well, hydroponics was when they grew on the that was like back in the day, right? They grew on that like gravel medium. It was like a gravelly whatever, and you put the seeds on it, and the fluid watered it, and the roots just grew down around the gravel. Pretty sure that was hydroponics, right? Then aquaponics. It's been big lately. You can see like Zach from American Homestead. He does it in his greenhouse. But now they got aeroponics. There's no medium whatsoever. The roots just grow in the air, and it's doing pretty well from what I could see. And he said that this guy had a garden in his yard, like I don't know, maybe it was 20 by 20, 20 by 15, whatever. He said that he had this 140-gallon bucket. It had as much produce in it as he can grow in that garden. It was literally filled with these PVC pipes everywhere, and they bushed out like 3 feet. You couldn't even see the bucket all the way around it. And he said that his claim was that bucket full of stuff, which was equal to the garden, took in 1 month the amount of water that his garden took in 1 day. Because it mists everything. It mists the roots and whatever water, there's no wasted water. There's no evaporation. There's no runoff. There's no water that soaks in the ground. It just all collects at the bottom of the bucket and it gets reused. And the roots just soak up what they soak up, and it just sends off this fine mist. It mists it for, I think it was 10 seconds. Every 3 minutes, it does a 10-second mist, 24/7. And it's using hardly any water. Going to bed, Daniel? Yeah, I should probably wrap it up too. It's getting late. And I'm kind of just rambling anyway, but gas mask, check that out. Check that search aeroponics and see what you come up with on YouTube. It's pretty interesting stuff. All right, folks. I thank you all for coming, for contributing to the chat. And I hope everybody has a good night. God bless you all. And I'll catch you next time around, next Tuesday. Probably gonna stick to this time, I think. See how it goes. I might try to find a different time, but for now, it'll be Tuesday night. Again, I appreciate everybody coming, and hopefully I'll see y'all next week. Y'all have a good night and a good week. God bless you.